All right, guys, we have our final guest of the season. Come on out, Kaitlyn.
Hi.
I am so excited to continue the conversation about trauma. We're going to talk about death. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's do this. Come on.
Come on, child.
I'm sitting waiting and I'm wishing on a star.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to One More Thing with Ash. I am so excited for you guys to join us for the second to last episode of season 2. We are at the second to last episode. I cannot believe it. We have delved into so many topics this season regarding trauma, from our childhood to relationships to generational trauma. But in this episode, we're going to talk about how death can be a traumatizer. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. This is a safe space for you to be and heal while having one honest conversation at a time. So I want to welcome you to One More Thing. But if you're joining us back, welcome back. We're almost done with season 2, so I'm glad you've been coming with us for this whole journey. But I am so excited and thrilled to welcome our final guest of the season, Miss Kaitlyn Ross.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
I honestly, we talked a little bit before we started filming. I really do admire your journey and what you've been through and what you're doing and all the content creation that she's been doing, and just really just spreading some joy and sharing her trauma stories. And so I was like, just come on one more thing. Just come on one more thing.
And I was happy to do it.
Well, if y'all don't know Kaitlyn, so I'll introduce her. Kaitlyn is a content creator who talks about her trauma experiences through dance, humor, and a good cup of coffee. I love a good cup of coffee. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok at Kaitlyn Ross_IRL. Literally, it was funny as we were planning the season for trauma and we were talking about, my producer and I were talking about it. I was like, wait, my friend Kaitlyn's been posting things about trauma. Easy guest. So I was like, let me text this girl. She got to be on One More Thing. So I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank
So
you.
welcome.
Thank you for having me. I wanted to ask, Ash, have you ever done a trauma salad?
What is a trauma salad? I mean, I do like salads. Obviously, non-dairy for me, you know.
Well, this one was non-dairy. You essentially pour candy in a bowl and you talk about your traumas. That's like one video that did well for me, and it was very healing.
So what do? You grab the, I don't know, whatever candy it is and talk about.
So you grab the candy from I grabbed the candy and I was like, "Hi, I'm Kaitlyn. I I didn't get chocolate as a kid, and I brought the bowl.
Okay.
And you go through that with like a group of friends.
You know, that's a good way to get to know somebody really quick on a deep level. And I will say, after every episode that we've had with people I thought I knew well enough, I learned so much about the other person. And it's like, okay, now I understand like why this person is this way.
Mhm.
Not in a bad way, but like how they are as a person, how they hold themselves. And so I think like what we've been talking about a whole season is that trauma can be a real teacher and it does shape us. And yeah, I mean, you're able to get out of trauma and you're able to heal from it, but you have to do the work.
Mhm.
You have to do the work.
You have to do the work, and it's if you're out there and you're going through an experience, it's really crappy that that experience happened to you. But at the end of the day, time does go on, and we're not victims, and we have to do the work.
Right.
And no one else can save us but ourselves.
Right.
I've been really having to live in that as I've gone through this journey, and healing isn't linear, but you have to do the work, and nobody else is going to save you. People are going to be there on your journey to support you and to have your back most of the time, but we're only really there for ourselves.
Yeah, it's just you have to, even if it's a small step. I've been telling our listeners, like, it doesn't have to be a big leap.
No.
Even if it's like, okay, I'm going to get up and go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go contact that friend I haven't contacted in a while. I'm going to go to one event this month.
I'm going to eat a little better than I did yesterday.
That's it. And what I've learned,
I'm
it's
gonna
like
drink.
it's day by day.
Mm-hmm.
and treating yourself. And I mean, through trauma, I've learned to like self date myself.
Hmm.
Like it's like waiting for someone to go see a movie. I'm like, I'm gonna go see a movie by myself.
Oh, I love going to movies by myself. Have you been to a concert by yourself?
No,
Concerts by myself? Everything.
everything.
I've met some friends at a concert. I love doing stuff like that by myself. I'm a Libra, so like
Okay, I didn't know that.
I like to there are times I like to be the life of the party and be in the middle of the room, but other times I'm like I just want to go to a concert by myself.
Yeah, it's that way with, I feel like when you're going somewhere by yourself to an event, like it just gives you like an initiative, like to talk to someone else or whatever. But it also shows like confidence shows when you
Mm-hmm.
talk to people. So that's good for you. I haven't done that yet. I'm gonna have to go to a concert by myself, you guys. Um,
Definitely. And you're going to have to go to a concert by yourself and let us know what you think.
just
'Cause
do it.
it's an experience.
Just do it.
There are some great concerts this year, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm going to my girl Ariana in June, so
Trying to get tickets to Ray.
Oh, okay. Period. um, but we've been trauma. I love hearing other people's stories, and like I said a little bit ago, we've delved into different parts of trauma, but I really wanted to focus on death. It seems like, oh my god, we're gonna talk about it, but there I've really evolved on this whole topic of death
Hmm.
for a long time. I mentioned in episode 1 that my first death that traumatized me was my grandfather's, and I was
Hmm.
7 years old. Best friend, pick me up from school every day. And then all of a sudden, then your parents say, "Oh, Papa passed away," and you're just like, "Huh?" So they're
Hmm.
gone? Like, what does that mean? And I didn't understand what that meant, and so it really like ingrained in me. And then the next death was my grandmother's, et cetera, et cetera. And as the deaths kind of close ones that I love came about, um, I processed it a lot differently. But this last, I mean, I've had 5 family passings in the last 7 months.
I'm so sorry.
It's wild. I'm hoping that we can. I've been joking with my family, like just to kind of brighten our spirits. I was like, can we get together to like celebrate someone buying a couch or something, or a car, or a birthday?
Laughter and comedy is definitely helpful for getting through death
Yeah,
and trauma in general.
I've learned to laugh a little bit through it,
Hmm.
and my brother's passing. I mean, I'm still going through it. I'm still in the works of going through therapy and learning how to process it. Losing a sibling, I didn't think I was going to experience this till later in life,
Hmm.
but experiencing at the age of, well, I was 30 at the time. 30, I'm only 30, so not much of an age difference. But experiencing this at 30, I was like, oh,
How much of an age difference was there between you and your
he was
brother?
younger. So he was 2 years. I mean, my mom always will clock me. 2 years, 8 months. My mom's like, my babies are 2 years and 8 months apart. Okay.
Moms always know best.
Yes, never doubt my mother. Hi. But yeah, it was, I mean, he was going to turn 28 the following month. So I don't, it's so, you have your close friends, and yes, they are your siblings in some sense, but like, this is someone that knows my childhood more, more than I did. We shared it for a long time. I only had a 2-year run.
Hmm.
And then he came along, and I stepped into this role of being a big brother. And now it's just, and I loved, one time he wrote in one of my birthday cards, "Thank you for being such a sense of optimism for me and being so positive." Because he's like, I can't really muster that up right now. And so it's just like, I miss the phone calls. I still get the urge to call him. Or, but lately, the last month, every day, one butterfly. I see it somewhere. And now I have a
It's amazing.
cocoon on my porch of a butterfly growing. I think that's I think that's just him telling me I'm okay.
Mhm.
I'm okay. But still, it's just I've been using the word weird for the last 7 months. It's just weird. But
Yeah.
I just, it's I keep thinking about like what the question is like, why is death such a traumatizer?
Death. It depends on how close you are to the person. It could even be a traumatizer, even if you're not close to the person.
Right.
And it's taking that spirit away from you,
Mm-hmm.
that person away from you, whether they were a good influence on your life or a bad influence on your life, and just not having them there anymore. I think that's a big part of it. And the aura,
Yeah.
you can feel them in different ways, but like just their physical being not being there
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah. I think you bring up a good topic, or bring up a good thing. It's like sometimes, I mean, can't speak for everybody. So first, from what I've heard from other people, like sometimes when someone passes, it's like such a relief
Mm-hmm.
in a good way for them. And and if you're not close to them, but if you are close to them, relief can be taken in a sense of like it was a relief that they're out of pain anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know for me, like why my brother's passing is so traumatizing is just because it's like it was so unexpected,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like he was 28, and it was like
So young.
he was almost done finishing his school and grad school and going to be an engineer. You always call him. He was the math and science guy. I'm the comms guy. You know how I feel.
PR girly.
Hey, but but why is it so traumatizing? It's just because it's like it kind of takes you back, and it's like like a piece of you has been just taken out somehow. And you're trying to find the replacement for that.
I felt that in a lot of ways with my grandmother who passed away. I was 2 years sober. I was 21 at the time, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unexpected. She was in a lot of pain and she was older, but like she was the closest person to me in my life at that point. And growing up, I went over to my grandparents all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to,
Yeah.
I grew up in a family of 11 siblings. So there were 12 of us, and I went over to their place as like an escape and to like get away from my siblings. And I was very close with her, and it didn't hit me. Her death didn't. And I also felt guilty because I was down here in California, like starting my life,
Right.
and all of my family was in Spokane. And so I felt a little guilty that I wasn't there when she passed, but all the emotions didn't hit me until the day of the funeral.
Yeah.
And I walked into the funeral and saw her body, like they did an open casket.
Right.
And so
That was a rosary or something,
a,
or a
ro-
viewing.
viewing, and
Okay.
all the emotions hit me then, and I couldn't stop crying throughout that whole day. Like,
Yeah. It's definitely something like when my dad made all my parents are divorced, so my dad made like all the arrangements. They were very very close, so he felt like he had like the duty to
mm-hmm,
do it, and he was like, well, we're gonna do a viewing. It's gonna be an open casket. We're gonna do my family's Catholic. We're gonna do a rosary,
same.
and we did talk about religion in the last episode, but we're gonna do we did an open casket because we're gonna do an open casket. It's up to you if you want to go up to the casket. He goes, I just feel like everyone wants to say goodbye to him.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't want to come to the rosary, that's fine. They can come to the funeral and the luncheon. So, I think, one thing I'm grateful for is that my family was very supportive. I think for the first 3 months, I got a call at least from one relative a day, and that was really
That's
nice.
beautiful.
But they all asked me, I was like, do you want to see him? I said, I've been wanting to see him since it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was the worst day of my life. um, um, it was the worst day of my life. And I think, when they asked me, I said, I want to see him because I had to think about it. I was like, when did I mean, we talked, I remember we made sure that we kept the relationship strong, and we called each other every 2 weeks, even if it was like for a minute, just to, as they say, just shoot the shit, just talk and chat and hang and vent and stuff like that. And that's one thing I'll miss, him just calling to vent. And he was like, I don't want you to listen, but I want you to listen. I don't want you to talk. I'm like, okay, sure. As any big brother or sibling would do, absolutely, I'll make the time for my brother. And I remember walking into the mortuary. Is that what it's called? The little chapel thing, and walking in and holding my mom's hand and she goes, "Do you want to do this?" I said, "I can't believe I'm saying this, but let's say our goodbyes." And looking at him in the casket still kind of glitches me out. It's just it's such a weird image, and just looking at him, and I mean the amount of detail that my dad put into everything, and made it, every detail was like, oh, that's him. That's him. Like on the casket there was a baseball, and I was like, that's my brother. He loved baseball. And the clothes that he was in, he wasn't in a suit. I told my dad my brother was not a serious guy. He didn't want a lot of attention on him. True introvert himself.
He was gonna be an engineer, for crying out loud. Like they don't wear clothes like that.
No, and so that image is still like really ingrained in my mind.
I feel that.
And my body, like, I just had to stand up there and just be up with him, and I just couldn't move. And like one of my aunts was like, "Do you want to sit down?" I was like, "No, I don't want to leave his side." Like I'm still, he's not physically here, but I still got a duty as a big brother to protect him and be there for him. And gosh, I think what you said earlier is like walking into the actual church, and I was a pallbearer. So like as they play the music and you're holding it, like thank goodness I was wearing sunglasses, and just seeing everybody as you're walking up, and seeing everybody who loved him or had some sort of interaction with him, that he had impact on them. Really, especially seeing all of his buddies that are all gamers, engineer, really like the gaming world, the gamers got some worlds. And one of his best friends was like, well, he's got friends in Vancouver, British Columbia, and a few people in Europe. And I was like, wow, my brother made impacts on people that I didn't even know about. So I think that's why it's a traumatizer. I think, you said your grandmother is, is that the last death that you experienced?
The last one. It was when I was 22.
Okay.
The first one that I experienced was something. It was a different kind of heartbreak, and I feel like it was even more painful.
Sure.
Just because of the circumstances around it. And I, like you, it was when I was really young and somebody that I was really close to.
Yeah.
And it was my foster brother.
Okay.
It was a gruesome death.
Okay.
And it was all over the news. It was horrible. But I think it was like 7 or 8. Also with trauma, you kind of block things out.
Yeah.
I just want to say that. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but with me, like, there are like gaffes in my childhood that I can't remember that well. I kind of get memory back when I read it in like court documents, or there's still a lot of news articles out about my case.
Yeah.
Like over 50. I compiled a list of them, and they're still out, but like things it feels like
You're reliving it.
Not reliving it, but it feels like I'm another person looking at this, not as like myself, And I feel that with trauma. Like, my experience has been to look at it, like to almost dissociate it a little bit and feel like a different person. I don't know if you feel the same way.
It just kind of like, there's ways I disassociate. It's either doing certain things to get my mind off of it, or just wanting to stop thinking and stop being in my head. But I think for me, what's helped me a lot is my friends and the support system that I have. One of my best friends lives lives next door to me, and he came over every single day after I came back home. Um, it was such an adjustment. Because I'm telling you, at least once a week, my brother would FaceTime me, and every freaking time, either A, I was on the toilet, or B, I was, or I was at the gym, and I'd be like, "What you want?" He goes, "That's not how you answer for your little brother. Hi, how are you?"
I always get people calling me on the toilet, okay? I call them when I'm in the car driving, and they never want to call me when I call them or answer when I call them. It's always on the toilet. It's
I
like,
know. I'm just like, anytime I tell people all the time, "Would you just call me, just do FaceTime audio," because my apartment ain't got no service. So sometimes I get my best ideas when I'm using the restroom. But we'll see. Um, but we talked about like a little bit like support systems. Like, what helped you? Like, does it depend on like the closeness of the relative? Why it's traumatizing? Like, we talked about like the difference between like it could if they're not close or not, or if they're that much involved in your life. But is there someone that passed away where it kind of was like, you're sad, but you're not like crushed?
my other grandmother,
Okay, because you didn't.
she ruled with an iron fist, like over. She was really critical of me growing up and would like talk about my weight, and it was just like, it was very not traumatizing, but like very. It was a little traumatizing to have somebody. I had all these people picking at my body and my weight, even after they knew some of the insecurities that I went through with food and like not having food. And so it was just, I did learn a lot from her. She taught me how to cook, so I do appreciate her for that.
Right.
Like, I'm grateful for her for giving me those skills as well as my mom. But
Mm-hmm.
like, other than that, I wasn't really,
You kind of just like, well, I think like I'm
I was,
good.
I felt okay.
You're like, I'm a little sad, but
And
like at the same time, you're just like,
also, she was really old. She was older than my other grandmother, and I wasn't really that close to her.
yeah,
Other than cooking. Like, cooking was like the one thing where we could, like, I don't know. It was
connect a
something
little
we
bit.
shared and connected.
Yeah, and I think like we talked about in the relationships episode, like and even in season 1 when we talked about love, like you're not. It's good to have relationships with your family, but you don't need to be buddy buddy with like everybody.
Hmm.
It's just not gonna end up that way. Like I'm close to my family, but I'm not like calling them or texting them every day or whatever it is. Um, but I think like the 5 deaths that I experienced, like there were a couple that I were just like, I'm sad because the whole my family has really gone through it,
Hmm.
but at the same time I was like, gosh, I'm okay. I think what's gotten me really through it is my spirituality
Hmm.
and seeing those signs, and I've been seeing butterflies for the last month and a half,
Hmm.
and now I have literally this caterpillar perched itself, does the whole butterfly thing, is now in a cocoon,
Hmm.
and apparently according to Google, in the next 10 days we'll have a butterfly.
That's
I don't
beautiful.
care what color it is. It could be a black and yellow one. It could be a monarch. I really don't care. I think it's just freaking cool that the caterpillar picked my porch.
What are your brother's favorite colors?
His favorite colors were blue, pink, and purple.
You never know. It could be one of those colors.
It could be. It really could be a little bit of something. I have really, especially with details of like the funeral. Like I was in charge of like the pallbearers and their ties, so we all had blue ties.
Hmm.
And my cousin asked me what I wanted to do for the reception. I said I want all purple tablecloths, and I want red roses because that was his favorite.
Hmm.
Even though he knows I do not like red roses at all. Um, but do you think death gets easier as you go along? Like, as time has gone on, it's honestly, and I'll be real, and my friends know this, like, this, the other deaths that have happened, like, yes, they affected me, but, like, my brother's has affected me a lot more.
Hmm.
There's days I just don't want to get out of bed.
I was gonna say it depends. It depends on the death. My grandmother, it's gotten easier over time, but my foster brother, it is not. Like I said, it was very gruesome. He, I guess I'll just get into it, I guess. He was very, we were in the same foster home together, and we had a very abusive foster mother, which I've talked about on my socials,
Mm-hmm.
but very abusive, starved us, threw us downstairs, drowned us in tubs, and like just there's even more stuff, and I won't even go into detail on that, but she had ended up adopting him,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not adopted. She didn't want to adopt me, which is fine because it was easier for me to get out, but I got adopted or taken into my family at 7, my adoptive family, and he stayed there. And I did feel really guilty about that
Mm-hmm.
when I left because I was like, I want him to come with me.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom did end up telling me that, like, she wanted to take him, but she didn't want it to mess up my adoption because it was, like I said, we were already going through a massive court case,
Sure.
lawsuits, criminal cases. It was just a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
so he ends up passing away due to being malnourished. I'll give you a bit of context. When I came to my family, my mom thought I was a little person or
Okay.
like thought I was like really short. I was a little bit smaller than my 3-year-old brother at 7. That's how malnourished I was, and my foster brother was as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up passing away
Mm-hmm.
at between 7 and 8.
Wow.
My parents and I had detectives at our door telling us what had happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know how to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I was really young, and I was scared that this woman was also going to come back and get me. Like there was just so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
My brain was fried, and
Can relate.
I ended up going out to like our apple orchard. It was the fall. I grew up on 11 acres of land, and it was the fall. The leaves were falling from the tree. There were a few apples, but like it was very symbolic for some reason. I remember that moment. Very symbolic, and I couldn't cry.
Yeah.
I couldn't cry. I just stood there, but like he was the closest person to me, and
Do you feel like you couldn't cry because there was something expected of you emotionally, or is it just because you could just couldn't get it out?
couldn't get it out. I was also again going through a lot, and like I'm somebody who tends to hide emotions, whether that be through food, dissociation, future tripping, alcohol, um,
Mm-hmm.
and money now, or like as I've gotten older. But I like to hide feelings, and like somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm okay.
I'm okay. But that, I just couldn't get it out. And he, as we were going through the case,
Mm-hmm.
we found out our system, our legal system, especially, I don't know about California, but in Washington, the legal system is so messed up.
Okay.
He, there was not a proper autopsy done. They released his body back to the abuser without a proper autopsy. And this woman ended up burning his body.
Wow.
Burning his
I
body.
that I have never experienced.
Allegedly, I don't want to get sued, but it's in the court docs, so.
So allegedly, we're not
Allegedly.
confirmed. We're not confirmed there, but I I I've experienced different types of death in my family. Whether I mean we had I'm not going to privacy of my family. We had one suicide in the family.
Mhm.
That was such a wild experience. It was when I was like around 15
Mhm.
or 16, and all I remember is that and we got a call and saying like this person we found her. It was I didn't know what it quite meant, and then my mom sat me down and told me the details, and I was just like, wow. It also just made me realize that I have such a great emotional, and as I've gotten older, better emotional intelligence,
Mhm.
and have the support system that I have. And whether it's like hopping on a call with you or hopping on a call with a friend or my mom or whatever, it's like lean on those people. And, you know, those people will see you through your bad or through your, you know, the ugly side or the good side or days that you're really in bed or whatever.
Love
Um,
that.
you know, I, I, I got some solid friends, and I really am really grateful. I live with a relative now. That almost 2 years now has been the biggest plus
Hmm.
for my self esteem and my safety.
I was gonna say during that time,
Mm-hmm.
my family was my biggest rock. I don't talk to them now, but I will always, especially my mom, I will, even though we don't talk anymore, like, I will always be appreciative to her for that. That woman, yes, she's really Catholic. That woman has a faith in her higher power that, like, I don't know. She was going as along with me. She was going through it with me during those cases, and then she was dealing with another court case for another sibling, and like, I don't know how that woman didn't break. Like, she was my rock, and like, wouldn't let me go to the courthouse because like I was having nightmares, wouldn't let me do anything, which is great. Like, I was on lock during that time, especially with my mess being splattered all over the news, the local news.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I don't know, it's we have some strong people in our
Mm.
lives, and I know that some family members that are close to my brother, that were close to my brother, like, I hate using the word were, the past tense with him. That they really have like hid their emotions. Like I feel like we all cried a lot at the funeral,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I've hopped on the phone and just cried my eyes out. And but it's such a way to you don't I don't think it gets easier. I think it's more of like you learn to live with it.
Yeah, it definitely becomes something that you live with, and it just, this is a different situation, but
Mm.
one thing that sticks with me from a few years ago that Taylor Swift says is like,
Mm.
you don't forgive and you don't forget. You just kind of grow indifferent and move on. That's kind of how I feel like I'm grew indifferent,
You just kind of move on.
and
Yeah.
it comes in bouts. Like, thinking about, I don't know if it's the same for you, but
Mm.
I do think about him a lot,
Yeah, I think about him every day.
especially now that I'm like filming content around it and putting it out there, because like it was a lot easier to suppress when I wasn't talking about it, and
I think just being open about it
mm,
too. Like I think that one thing I'm glad about one more thing is I'm able to talk to
mhm.
a my friends, and also to connect with other viewers and listeners and all the things, and being a little bit more vulnerable.
My advice is get a good therapist.
Trust me.
I, I'm going back to therapy. It's
Yeah, I recently I've only had like one session, but I recently gone back to therapy, you know, and I realized like even before he passed, like my friend was like, "Do you know like, you know, therapy is a great option for you, Ash, etc." I said, "Trust me, I'll know when I need therapy."
mm,
And now that it was after my birthday, I was like, yeah, I need to go see somebody because I have so many things I need to do and things that are going on that I don't need to. I can't be in bed all day. But I realize that is also a healthy response to just not want to do anything and
it's okay to
eat my brains out.
it's okay to be in bed sometimes. It's okay to just not want to do anything during the day when you're going through it.
Yeah, I think, and one of my longtime best friend Tracy, I told her one time, I told her, I was like, Trace, I just don't want to get out of bed.
Mm,
She's like, that's okay. That's okay. She goes, you've set boundaries for yourself. Like you don't even answer your phone on Sundays. I said, you know, the Sundays are just me. That's part of my Sunday ritual.
mm,
I disconnect a little bit. I'm not on my phone as much. I'm like binge watching my TV shows or just watching movies all day or going to the gym or hanging out with friends. Like that's just my day to not be on my phone. Um, but I think like I said, spirituality has helped me a
mhm.
lot. I've there's not a, like you mentioned about your grandmother and your foster brother, like the there's not a day that doesn't go by I don't think about my brother, or I don't think about my grandparents that passed away, or other my great uncle or my great aunt that passed away. I don't. There's not a day that I don't think about them. I think about obviously my brother because it's obviously the most recent, but it's just like every time like I just like I'm like I do this thing I recently, and I just been closing my eyes and I'm just like whispering to myself like, be with me, just be with me, or just show me that you're here. And I've been always intertwined with like um, spirits and energy and stuff like that. And every time I just feel like a little bit. It's weird. It's like I feel this like like he's like leaning on me or a hug on me. There was one night where I was in my bed and I had finished crying and it felt like he was I could feel his like him the like sitting on my bed. Like what he would do would be like sitting on it just I believe in this kind of stuff. And
Same.
you know what I mean? Like candles flickering and stuff like that, or butterflies, or there was this one, like I was talking about butterflies earlier. There was one time I left my apartment and this butterfly literally just like where did he land on my landed on my hand. I was like, hey. So I got a butterfly tattoo. I love butterflies. And I think he knew that. He was like, if I'm gonna show my brother that I'm around, I'm gonna show up in a butterfly because he talks about them. And then when my one of my uncles passed, when the five deaths, when my uncle passed away, that day when they told me, I loved my uncle. I was like, whoa, like what another unexpected passing. Um, he was in his early 50s. It's still young to me. Like
Still young.
and I went for a walk, and two butterflies were doing this around me.
That's really beautiful.
And that I was like, I was like, now I gotta call my friend and get a tattoo because I would love a butterfly on me. But I think spirituality has gotten me through it a lot. I think like I don't think there's really like a timeline for grief. And whether it's traumatizing and just working through it, I am still working through it. I thought I could do this on my own, but like I've mentioned, like the LA LGBT Center is great. Therapy is a great tool. But let's take a. We've been talking about death and how we've been dealing with it, but I want to talk about like death, the actual topic itself for a second. So we last episode we talked about our childhood, and I asked our guest Caesar. I was like, well, if your 5-year-old self walked through the door, what would you say to them? And it's not a RuPaul moment, but we said that. So, do you often think about death and how you would want to go?
I don't, because I'm just my life for the first. I want to say like really the first. Actually, no. The concentration of like my hell was for the first 10 years of my life.
Okay.
People have asked me like, have you ever committed or just wanted to unalive yourself? No, I
Mhm.
my life felt like death every day for 10 years, going
Wow.
through the. Can I curse?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, going through the stuff that I went through,
Right.
like it felt like death every day, and so like I don't really want to think of that, and
Yeah.
I'm just on my journey and doing what I need to do to
Focused on it.
fo- focused on my career, focused on content creation, my friends, stuff like that. I what about you?
Um, it's I do think about it because it's like, I mean, lack of a better words, like death is inevitable and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. Um, I think for the first few deaths, like it kind of like in general when I was younger was like, oh, eventually I'm going to be this way. But like with my brother and everything, it was like, do I think about death? I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I would like to be cremated. I don't want to be in a casket. I don't want to be buried. I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want I don't want anything surrounding religion. I would prefer to have a celebration of life.
Hmm.
Yes, maybe there are tears that are shed, but I really want people to come together and see the love that we all share for me, you know? In terms of like how I want to go, like I'm hoping like knock on wood, it's because of natural causes. And I hope that, and you're talking about your healing journey. I hope I live a life that is full and that I'm able to impact a lot of people
Yeah.
in a positive way and help make their lives a little easier to, on their end. We can't help everybody, but I hope like this space is allowing you to be like, oh, I relate what Kaitlyn's saying. I relate what Ash is saying. So I do think about how I'd want to go. I don't know if you like think about like hoping by like, because some people are like, well, I got this in my family, I got run this in my family. Like I think I might just cancer or something or whatever.
I mean, I haven't thought about how I wanted to go, but I'm gonna be doing a will soon, so I'm definitely gonna be putting like my final wishes in that. But I haven't thought about how I want to go. You know, knock on wood. Hopefully, it's quick and painless.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you
That's
see
morbid,
you
but
see like those stories of people that like were like basically they were dead, but then they all of a sudden they came back to life. Um, I think like death will be painless, to be honest. Whether I mean you see, I mean no matter what the incident is, like I feel like death is painless. Like obviously you feel it in your body, and then you're gone.
mm.
So, but do you think death is like the end all, be all? Like, is there something beyond?
See, I don't know because I was raised in the Catholic Church, so
Okay,
like I only really have that lens, and I'm not a practicing Catholic anymore.
nor am
But
I.
no, no, we don't do that.
No.
We don't we don't go there anymore.
Well, I think like it was for me like with my brother's passing and going to the Catholic services, and obviously like I respect my dad and my family and my mom and everything like that. But, you know, at least for the church that I belong to since baptism, the fact that I went to a Catholic grade school, the fact
Mhm.
that both of my grade school teachers came to the funeral and paid their respects, and I told them exactly what I did. I'm like, I'm in queer nightlife.
Mhm.
I'm a promoter. And their response was, "That's actually kind of cool." So it kind of made me feel better. The priests came up to me. They know exactly who I am, and it really didn't matter about what my sexuality was. Is that they were here to give their condolences,
Mhm.
and that's big of, at least in my opinion, the Catholic Church. Um,
Yeah, cuz for all their wrongs, you know.
Yeah, they're all the wrongs, but it's glad that the like it's the I and from what I've seen, things are slowly changing the way they need to, because there are. I mean, you know, I mean, religion is about love.
Mhm.
It's about being better than you are. The next
Respect.
respect. It's different way. I mean, we'll talk about this probably another podcast, another episode. But religion is just a different way of practicing or believing in something that's higher than yourself. But it's just a different way of looking at it. Um, but for me, like that's why I always say, like when I go, like I want a celebration of life.
Mhm.
I want to be cremated. If my family chooses to have a private ceremony before I'm cremated, then sure. But I really just don't. I don't want the word funeral in the category. I want a celebration of life. Let's eat some food.
Mhm.
Let's have a few speeches. Let's talk about me, and then that's it.
And if you got some coin, bring out your favorite artist.
Exactly. You know, if Ari's around by the time I'm, gone, like Ari, like, can you like help a girl out? But
Um,
I think would be the good question to ask too is, can you untraumatize yourself from death?
no.
And
And the reason why is like I mean, you can get better, you can go to therapy, you can heal, but it's never not going to be traumatizing, you know?
yeah, I don't think you can like.
No.
I think you can't untraumatize yourself, but you can heal yourself
He-
from the trauma.
Heal from the trauma, but it's always gonna, in one way or another, you're always gonna have a reaction to it, whether it be with your body or emotions.
Yeah.
That you're always gonna be working on something around that trauma,
You're good. You're good.
around
You're
that
good.
death or trauma,
Yeah.
and I don't think you can 100% heal yourself.
I think you just learn to live with it.
Learn to live with it. You grow different and you move on.
And you get better each day. I think the biggest lesson I probably could give to anybody out there that's been traumatized by death is to take it day by day. Not every day is the same for me. I get really happy to come and record these episodes for you guys because I love doing this. I love bringing people and guests on this podcast that can share their stories and connect, and that brings me joy. But I'm like you. There's days where I just don't want to get out of bed. There's days where I just disassociate and literally put my phone in a drawer and don't even look into it till I go to bed and set my alarm. And even when I look at them, like, I don't. They can wait till tomorrow.
I mean, not really so much in the last year because I've been really working on myself, but before, like, there were some days all I could do was doom scroll on TikTok for hours and just dissociate or rewatch my shows over and over again, like Scandal, and
Oh,
just like tune out the world and just remember don't be too hard on yourself. Like, allow yourself to have those days. If it gets to be a pattern, then maybe take a look at it, but don't be too hard on yourself because trauma and death as a whole, like, it's not linear. And what was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought. But
totally okay.
trauma and healing isn't linear, and if you have to take it 1 minute at a time, 30 minutes at a time, an hour at a time just to get through the day, then do that. And get yourself a good beverage. A good beverage really makes the day.
I
Like a
think like
coffee or an energy drink.
I think for the first week, I love my apartment. I love the porch. I love the way it looks. Like it looks out into like these beautiful birds of paradise trees and these succulents and stuff like that. And for like the first couple weeks, I would just go on my porch and sit with a cup of coffee and just breathe. And no matter like what happens, whoever passes away that's closest to you or not, whatever your situation may be, like the world doesn't stop. It just, this little part of your life is taken out, but you just learn to move every day and move in the direction of wanting to be your best self. And I've mentioned through every episode, it does not have to be a huge step. It can be a little step, whether it's like taking yourself on a date, going to go get something to eat, or calling the friend that you want to call, or taking yourself to a concert for the first time solo. Like,
And self-care is super important as well. Self-care is, I think, one of the biggest things when you're going through death or trauma. Drinking water is important. Um, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I've heard my favorite artist of all time, Camila Cabello, when she was releasing her album, she made a TikTok video or something talking about self-care and saying that self-care isn't always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes we don't want to do it, but like drinking water, we may not always want to drink water, but that's important when you're going through a trauma. Like there's a lot of crying and you're losing a lot of nutrients by crying. So drinking
I
water,
agree.
having a big water bottle by you is really important. The logo wasn't on that. They're not sponsoring us. But drinking water, going to the gym for me like helps me to get out of a lot of emotions that I'm feeling, and even just walking on the treadmill like at a low pace
I think the gym has helped me a lot.
It can help shift a lot of emotions around.
It kind of just like, I think like the sadness and like the emotions kind of get all pent up, and so like you're kind of like that anxiety. But then when I go to the gym for a couple hours, I'm able to zone out, be on my phone, throw some good Ariana, and just zone out. Then I come home just like, okay, get out of my head.
But yeah, self-care.
But it's okay, like you said, it's not linear. Like there's days where you just want to cry. There's days where you just don't, or you're good and you're happy. But take it easy. Take it easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. I am a victim of being really hard on myself.
Same.
So, but is there any last piece of advice you can give to somebody out there that has experienced someone that's close to them that has passed away, and they're just trying to navigate therapy, or they're trying to figure out what they want to do next? Like, is there any advice that maybe they're not ready for therapy?
Get yourself a good friend, because they can be they can be that bridge until you find the right person. Not one therapist is the same, and so until you find a good therapist, get yourself a good friend. You only need one. You don't need a bunch.
Right. I
I
learned that.
think I think our culture is so like, have all these people around you. No, no.
I think like
Get one good friend.
I have a lot of good friends, but I think like my circle I can count on like two hands at max.
It's same.
And you know, I don't I mean I can count on each and every one of them. A, because I have their locations, and B, I know if I do something, I knew they would be there for me, as they have. But I'm very grateful. Just to kind of just go off of what Kaitlyn was saying, just like, you have a support system, find it. If you don't, there are groups out there. And if you're not comfortable doing that, join, you know, I don't know if are there knitting classes out there still. I don't know if there's a book club out there somewhere, or if you're a gamer, get yourself involved with gamers. And I know you guys have like relationships there. My brother was a gamer, so I can vouch. But try to insert yourself into situations where you think you'd be uncomfortable, because that's where the real growth happens, in my opinion. But anyways, I want to thank you so much for being here, Kaitlyn. It has really been a pleasure. I know we've been talking about this for weeks, and I'm glad we were able to sit down and talk about it. Thank you for being so open. I hope that you all connected at home, wherever you're watching, or if you're listening, or you're watching the video itself. I'm so glad you can join us today on One More Thing. And if I can add one more thing, if anybody hasn't told you today or recently, I love you, I believe in you, and you can do anything you set your beautiful mind to, and the world is yours. You have the support out there, and we love you.
We both love you very much, and thank you for having me, Ash. It was great to be here.
She's always serving looks. Let me tell you, this girl right here, shoot. I knew she showed up. She was like, okay, Miranda Priestley.
Thank you for having me. It's time for me to go get into my street clothes now, take the makeup off, and go to sleep.
Period. I'm all for it. Well, thank you all for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share as we expand this safe space together. This is One More Thing with Ash. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.